Hello and welcome to Highly Informed. I'm your host, Shaun Salvaje. Highly Informed is all about entheogenic education and news you can use when it comes to the world of cannabis and psychedelics. I'm here with, you go by Triste.
Yes.
Triste, but Tristeza Ordex.
Yes.
And you're kind of like a legend behind the scenes in the decrim scene. Like, I don't know if you know your impact, but I'm really looking forward to sharing with everyone just how much you're kind of showing up like a real jefa,
Thank you.
and helping efforts to decriminalize city by city, because I don't think people realize Texans, the legislature meets every 2 years. This is our opportunity to weigh in because we don't have ballot votes statewide. We don't vote on issues like that. City ballots, though, we do, and that's where we're finding our biggest decrim efforts. So thank you so much for joining us. You worked on the Decrim Dallas campaign with Ground Game Texas. You have Fuerza Strategies.
I do.
Tell me more.
So, thank you again for having me, and to Cozy for hosting us. I am from Dallas. I am the founder of Fuerza Strategies, political consulting firm, veteran and Latina led. And I also got to serve as the Decrim Dallas campaign manager last year. Thank you. It was a lot of work. We organized over 60 businesses in the city of Dallas, over 15 different organizations that joined our coalition, including Texas Cannabis Collective, Somos Tejas, and a lot of other great organizations, TOP. And you know, the organization that brought Decrim Dallas was Ground Game Texas. And it was really exciting to be able to see the amount of support that we receive, not only from coalition partners, but also from the community. People really want this shit, you know? And, you know, like you were saying, the decrim is something that we unfortunately can't pass statewide. We have to do it city by city. And we've been fortunate enough to have organizations like Ground Game Texas and Texas Cannabis Collective and others that are doing this decrim work, because this is going to be how we do it, city by city. Our campaign during the petition collection part, we collected over 50,000 signatures in 5 months. We had tons of support from people that even didn't live in the city of Dallas that were like, I want to sign it. And, you know, unfortunately they couldn't, but we're like, hey, tell somebody that you know that lives in the city of Dallas to come through and sign this and where they can sign it.
And pay attention in your own cities. So many folks are reaching out to the big cities, and they're in smaller cities.
Yeah.
Reaching out to the big cities because that's where they see the action is happening. But we need y'all to help shake things up on the local level too. Like seeing things with Lockhart, a lot of good work done, running into roadblocks and running into legislators who don't want to see measures that were passed by the people through, even though it was actually voted on. Tell us a little bit about like what challenges have you been running into when it comes to Texas, when it comes to decrim, and when it comes to organizing for change just in general in the Lone Star State?
So I would say where our campaign is concerned, the Decrim Dallas campaign, the challenges we faced, one of them was financial challenges. Campaigns take money. And a lot of times we don't talk about that. Right now, there's a lot going on here in Austin with lobbying individuals that have already been elected to office. The thing is that there's something that we can do before we get these individuals in there that already have their mind made up about what bills they're going to support and not support. So the work comes before in campaigns, doing things like ballot measures, supporting candidates that believe in decriminalization and legalization of marijuana. That's what we need to do. But campaigns take money. A lot of times we're like, oh, damn, this person got elected, I voted for them. But we don't think of all the work that goes behind it. Hiring individuals. We had we had like in upwards of 40 organizers at a time that I managed on the Decrim campaign that we paid for them to go out there, and they would be out there for hours on their feet, 6 to 8 hours sometimes. We would be up, me and my field director, Natalie Marquez, we'd be up, I'd be up at like 6 in the morning. My team would be out during the week by 8 a.m. And on weekends, they'd be out sometimes until midnight. So then I would have to be there closing out the campaign for the day and getting ready for the next day. So it's a lot of work, and it takes money. Also printing the information that we want to get to voters, getting the petitions printed out so individuals can sign them, because the way that things work in Dallas County is that you have to have a wet signature in order to be able to, for the signature to count.
So no e-signatures, no sending it in with the click of a button.
No.
Kind of a way for them to make sure.
Yeah, it's another voter suppression thing, right?
Like there are ways to check and balance it so you can have access to both, but this is one way that they're pushing it in
Makes
one
it just a little bit
direction.
more restrictive in order for us to be able to get stuff like this passed. And I mean, this is Texas. Like, we know about voter suppression in this fucking state.
I feel like folks in the rest of America might think some things are ancient history in the United States. In Texas and California, I think in the American Southwest, you feel the relevance of recent history substantially, because we're only talking about like 100 years is only 5 generations, maybe not even 3. Like my grandmother lived till 93. So she saw 93. A lot of this.
Smoking weed still.
Right? Or her mother was like part of the soldaderas, you know? So the history is very recent in Texas, and also the history is not long changed. Where there are other parts of America that went through like the 60s and 70s. We did too, but not many of our laws changed. We went through New Jim Crow South. So it's hard for folks to understand, because they think that we need to come in with these guns blazing sometimes, which, yes, in appropriate situations, but I don't think they realize how aware we are of our own situation at times, that how long these issues have persisted, or, you know, the callousness that you've developed, especially, you know, you're a veteran, so sometimes I have the same affliction, so I say it actually in a positive way, and other folks might not, but we develop a little bit of a callous around some of these issues because we know how tough it is. We know what we're up against. Like when they talk about social equity and it falling apart in other states, I knew that would never be a question. That would never happen in Texas. Why? Like, we got to structure this another way because they're not going to let that one fly. So we'll get to communal organizing and communal money in another way, in the way that this system is designed, but you do run up against some big roadblocks.
Yeah, we did. Financially, that was a big part. You know, but we did it. There was a lot of volunteers, a lot of businesses that put their own time, individuals that knocked on doors, talking to voters and letting them know that it was going to be on the ballot. Because when I was out there too with my team, you know, as a campaign manager, it is not above me to go out there and ask somebody, hey, are you registered to vote? And, you know, I'm Latina too, I speak Spanish. So talking to my gente about it, because in the Latino community, it's still very stigmatized, you know, and for me, I'm very proud of that work, because when that shit got on the ballot, 3 generations of my family voted for us to pass Prop R. My mom, me and my sister, and my son. And that was it gives me the chills to think about it.
And it brings you back to participating in a system that you may have otherwise felt dejected from.
Exactly. Because for me, you know, you asked a little bit about my business. I found in my business, it's a labor of love for me, because the first time I ever voted was after I retired from the Marine Corps. Because we're not civically engaged. They don't talk to us about voting. And people don't understand the importance of voting. We're facing it right now with what's happening with the hemp industry. That we have people out there that want to take it away, and they don't realize the impact that it's going to have on families, businesses, communities. And the thing is that we have to get ahead of it. Right now, we're trying to play catch up with people that are already elected. But there's elections coming up. 2026 is around the corner. Look at who is going to be supporting responsible hemp legislation and other things. That's who we need to be voting for. That's who we need to put our money behind, our volunteer hours, our name, our businesses, individuals that are going to help protect the thing that we want. And people want marijuana in Texas.
It's already here. It's here. Whether like they've got to figure out now how to do this for the benefit of Texans instead of pretending that it's not here. One thing that struck me while you were speaking is you mentioned that the elections are coming up, and that is one thing where voters can show up. But it also crosses my mind that there are various industry partners who I wouldn't mind seeing if they ran for a local office. It would be. It also means that seats are up potentially, or we can make the race a little more hot by applying pressure. Who in the space that you're a part of, like who would you see as being one of those industry leaders who you wouldn't mind stepping up? I mean, we're no pressure though, because we're over here signing folks up to be legislators.
No, I won't throw anyone's name out there, but one thing I will say is that I want to see more women running for office. And more women that are working around marijuana reform, whatever it looks like, whether you're in the business industry, whether you're trying to organize around it, decriminalize, whatever piece it is, you have so much value to bring to it. For me as a Latina working in politics, it's tough out here because it's a man's world. I have to be out there with a lot of men and a lot of white men too. So to be a Latina, someone that's bilingual, and to be able to represent my identity to other young Latinas that want to be in this space. And that's why I do it. That's why I built my business, Fuerza Strategies, because I want to bring other young women up and have someone be able to help them instead of gatekeep this space. Because that's what happens. We got to face enough shit with men who we don't need to be fighting amongst each other. We need to support one another. We need to uplift each other. Ooh. Hey, you need to talk to, you need somebody to help you raise money? Hey, homegirl, don't worry. I know some people. We'll all donate $20. We'll get it together.
That's a part whatever of it is. The community that I love. And then also like where you say sometimes we need our community around us to call us out so we can be called back in. Like that to me is the truest friendship actually, where you say like, hey, what the hell are you doing? What's going on here? Like you can rely on each other to build together, but you can also rely on each other when you need the gut check. Like when you need someone to really be watching your six, not just telling you, yeah, it's good, and thinking like, no.
Yeah, and you're right. I think that there's times where it's the way that we tell people, how when we're like, hey, homegirl, like, I don't think that was right, or I don't think we should do it like that. It's the way that you work through that and talk to one another and respect one another. That's what is going to continue to keep us united and bring folks in that maybe are on the outside.
Absolutely. How do you see communities activating to create change in the future, especially for Tejanas out there who maybe not just for cannabis, and maybe not just for hemp or marijuana, whatever of the three, cannabis, but also for other causes that they really believe in or other ways that they want to impact their community. There's so many of us. Like, I grew up around Hereford, Texas. I grew up all around Texas, but a good chunk of it was spent in Hereford in the Panhandle. And I know that there are young women out there who are looking for opportunities, but there's no opportunities to be found. How can they, no matter what industry they're in, take that next step forward?
I mean, just do it. I'd say reach out to me, reach out to individuals that are doing organizing work around the issues that you care about. For me, that's really how I got started, was because I got so curious because I didn't know the first thing about voting. I didn't know how to register to vote. I was registered to vote because I went to go get a Texas driver's license after I retired from the Marine Corps and moved here to Texas. And it was by pure coincidence. So really you can literally Google, right now being a woman in Texas is a whole ass political statement. Same thing with being a veteran, everything that's going on with veterans' health care benefits and VA staff, being cut and how that's going to affect us. There's so much going on. Pick one thing that you're like, I want to help contribute something.
Like
whether
you
it's
feel very connected.
Yeah. And, look up organizations. Locally, there's so many organizations here in Austin, Ground Game, Texas. They don't just do work around marijuana decriminalization. They put popular issues on the ballot, things that people are like, this is not a partisan thing. This is a people thing. And, really, I encourage folks to get involved in any way, whether it's you start by posting things on social media about why that issue is important to you, from making sure that you update your voter registration and you get out to vote. Do your research. Know who you're voting for. Because, again, we don't want to get stuck with what's happening right now with hemp because we got people coming for the industry.
Yeah, people with money who know that the legislators have already made their decision with or without us. Yeah. Likely without, at least in the Senate. But we'll see how things shake up in the House.
But, I'm encouraged.
I am too.
Hope that people are paying attention.
Yeah.
And there's an election right around the corner, y'all. Right around the corner. 2026 is right around the corner.
And you get frustrated enough, you're just going to have to become the change you want to see and maybe have a few folks out there who run for office.
Yes.
So, okay,
please let me know, friends.
As you're looking ahead and planning for yourself, what do you see on the horizon so we know where to keep in touch and keep an eye on you?
So I want to continue to help candidates run for office, specifically women, mujeres. I'm actually working on a project with a friend of mine where we are going to be teaching students how to work on campaigns. So we're going to do an internship program because there is such a talent gap here in Texas. We're asking qualified candidates to run and we're not giving them the team that they need. And we want to be able to train, especially young women, to be able to be running campaigns for other women. So we'll be hopefully getting ready to launch that later this year, to be able to start on races for next year for 2026. I'm, also want to continue to do work around decrim. As a veteran that uses marijuana, it's essential to my recovery with my mental health. And, as someone that has struggled with PTSD since my service and been on medication, for me, marijuana has been very key in being able to, sometimes do things, day-to-day things. Like sleep. So I want to continue to do work around that because I always want to remind folks that a run-in with the police in a city that doesn't have decrim can cost somebody a lot. And I don't want to see that happen to anyone. And the way that we get...
And I don't think people understand you can be completely innocent and still get tangled up. And it can cost you 20 grand just to prove that you're...
Exactly.
Nothing happened.
Yep. Yeah. And that can ruin a lot for a person. Some people don't got like $5,000 laying around to get their record clear so that way they can have benefits that they need.
We have the DPS guys who testify, but those guys are invited to testify. When you talk to police on the beat, some of them feel a certain way, but there's also a good handful. They don't want to enforce it. It's annoying. They don't want to bother folks. It's not necessary. It's not broken windows logic. It doesn't add up when mom also has it.
It's a waste of money too. It's a waste of city taxpayer dollars. And one thing that I'll say, with with Prop R, not only is it now adopted into our city charter, the Dallas Police Department chief actually put out an internal memo saying that they would make sure that they are compliant with Prop R. And
which is really
that's a big
good
win.
sign. That's
and
a great start to a good partnership.
The other thing is that Dallas won the lawsuit against Ken Paxton. So he keeps losing. So let's make him lose in 2026 too.
Well, that's what we were saying. That's how we started at the top of the morning. We said some laws are made through the legislation and some laws are made through litigation. That's just how this cookie crumbles, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I guess I name dropped somebody.
one person, but everybody knows him. You bring up some really valid points, and it's interesting to see this all fold out. Final words, final thoughts. What do you got for us?
So I would say if you really want to invest in decriminalizing marijuana in the state of Texas, get involved with organizations like Ground Game Texas and Texas Cannabis Collective. Donate to them. We're currently raising money. I'm helping Ground Game Texas. If anyone is interested in making a donation to help us reach our goal, please talk to me and I'd be happy to get you all the information. The other thing I would say is if, even in, like you were saying, any issues outside of marijuana, if you want to get involved in organizing, just do it. You all know me now, and there's a lot of amazing organizers out there and groups that are doing all types of different work. Whatever issue is closest to your heart, that's where you start. So
I love it. Start close to the heart. That brings us to our conclusion of this special season of Highly Informed, filmed live in front of an audience here at Cozy Cannabis on 4th Street in Austin during South by Southwest. Wow, what a day. Kicking off Texas Cannabis Week. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Tristeza.
thank you for having me.
It's a
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
We're going to have you again. I have no
Gracias.
doubt. Thank you.